Mark, not Mark.
Hi guys, I'm Mark, not Mark, here at PAX East with one of the creators of Adventure Quest Worlds, done Dragon Fable, Adventure Quest, all of my childhood.
I'm so sorry. Mark, thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
And I could not, if you went back in time and told me that I'd be here today talking to you, I would say I'm full of crap right now.
Is that guy still alive?
What started down this path? Like, I understand that this started back in Flash. Like, how did this all start? That's my biggest question.
Well, first off, this is what it's like being ninjas at a convention, because they have to talk to the masks. So we're all muffled, like. So we've been building and updating the Adventure Quest games and Dragon Fable and Epic Duel every single week for 20 years. If you go to Artix.com right now and download our launcher, it's super tiny, no bloat, it has one job, it opens up the games. You can play all of our existing Flash games, log in with your accounts, and they're updated every week still. This week, we updated Adventure Quest 3D, we upgraded Adventure Quest Worlds, Dragon Fable, Adventure Quest, and Epic Duel.
So you're telling me if I managed to find my email from when I was a child, I'd still be able to log in and somehow recover my account?
Yes, and it's your username, but if you have your email, I can look it up for you too. And if you need it, I will go look it up for you. I'll hack the database and get you set up.
Man, that would be a dream. But I honestly would not mind starting over. Just seeing how far this has grown for over 20 years.
I'm glad you said that, because this is a good time to start over. You don't have to, but we're building this new Adventure Quest Worlds Infinity. Mm-hmm. We don't change the name again. We did like 5 times. It's a rebuild of Adventure Quest Worlds in Unity. We're converting all 50,000 items to this new game. And if you were to log in with that original character of yours, you'd log into the game, you'd have your character, you'd have all of your items, all 120 classes if you had them, and we're going to re-release the main story, remastered, shorter, less grind, more fun, and then keep the game in parallel with the other version.
Okay. Are you gonna keep in like some of the older running bits? Like, I remember there was like a quest line where you got to go and push somebody over in an outhouse, and that was like one of the things that made me.
I think we did that in Dragon Fable and in Adventure Quest Worlds.
Yeah, see,
I guarantee there will be more outhouse jokes.
Oh my god, that had me rolling as a child. I'm just like, that's like one of my fondest memories. Like, even like just the littlest details. Like, I forgot. Forgive me, but I forgot what the red mascot's name is.
Okay. The red guy's Twilly.
Twilly. Like, I remember.
The purplish blue guy's Zorback.
Twilly and Zorback. Okay.
Artix is the guy in armor. Warlick's the mage. And Gravelin, who is by far the most fan favorite character in our entire like series of games. She's the daughter of our game's biggest villain, who's now the empress of the Shadow Sight faction.
Okay, that is really cool. The fact that you were able to just pull that up, no problem. What is one thing that you're really looking forward to that's coming up? Coming up in like Adventure Quest Worlds Infinity.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to this weekend here while we're at PAX, and this is like the last like hour of PAX we're in. So we have this item, the Axe of Axe, and anybody can get it for the next week or so by going to aq2d.com and entering their email. I wrote the letter. It'll tell you how to get this game in Adventure Quest 3D, Adventure Quest Worlds, and of course you'll have it for Adventure Quest Worlds Infinity. All you gotta do is enter your email and follow the instructions on the letter that I send you.
I will definitely do that. Like, oh my god, you have to forgive me. I'm still a little starstruck. The fact that, like, yes, I've seen you multiple days throughout this weekend, but the amount of passion.
Well, this is the third time we've seen each other, so now we can fight.
Okay, all right, I'm ready. Like, I remember like the original 3 classes was like Rogue, Warrior, and I want to say Mage. Yep.
And then Healer joined the lineup for Mace. So we have 120 plus classes in the original Adventure Quest Worlds.
Wow, that's a massive.
And at this point, they're getting pretty goofy. I mean, not that the game was ever that serious. That is an anything goes game.
Would you say that you have a personal favorite class that you were just like, this one's my favorite, but they're all good, but this one right here?
I'm a little partial to Paladin, although
Okay.
it needs a buff. Please tell the team that it needs a buff. That's what everybody tells me. I'm like, I would, but they keep vetoing me.
I would have to say my first class, honestly, was Rogue, but I did gear towards Paladin. I don't know, there's something about being like big swollen armor, take the hit.
There's a time for stabbing and then there's a time for honor. Mostly stabbing. So back when we built the first Adventure Quest Worlds, right? All right, I only told this to 2 people at the convention. We'll do this for your audience. This is a story that nobody knows. They know the first part. New Year's for 2008, 2009. We had just launched MechQuest. MechQuest was 3 months old.
I remember that.
And I mean, that game, I love big giant stompy robots. And we built the game and everyone's like, okay, so the combat's really fun. What are we gonna do, like intergalactic warfare? And I'm like, no, we're gonna deliver pizzas. So it's New Year's, right? 3 months later. And I'm like, hey guys, come over to my house for New Year's and bring your laptops. And you're like, you're having a party? Like, yeah, bring your laptops. To this day, every time I invite people over for New Year's, they're like, we're not working again, Artix. Because if you get invited over to bring your laptop, that means we're working. And we did this big press release announcement that our big next project was going to be a massively multiplayer game in Flash. And they said, you can't do that. I'm like, we'll figure it out. They're like, no, seriously, do you have a plan for this? I'm like, yeah, we're gonna figure it out like real fast because we just told everyone we were gonna do it. So 2 months later, we have a prototype of what was going to become Adventure Quest Worlds.
Wow.
And as the game kind of had alpha and testing and stuff, like, okay, it's time to make the main plot line of this game.
So you had all these ideas, but didn't have a plot line yet.
I'm never going to run out of ideas. If I could actually do all this stuff, because every time we talk to the players, everybody, like, we're all part of this grand conversation. It never stops. Like, the ideas and the creativity and variance and twisting things and turning them and surprising them and building crazy new villains and weird new monsters and fusing things together and taking things down to the core and adding a new mechanic, like, it's limitless. And that's why when they said, okay, what's the main plot of this thing? And I said, and I thought about it, and it was Safiria, and she's like, man, I really like Cthulhian mythos, like the elder one, like the ancient ones, and
Lovecraftian horror.
Yeah, and she's like, you should do something like that. And I'm like, oh, you're saying we should do chaos. And I said, call it the 13 Lords of Chaos. Put the guy on a hill or the girl or whoever the player is, and have them holding their weapon up. Just put it on the screen. Adventure Quest Worlds, the 13 Lords of Chaos. They said, great. What does that even mean? I'm like, I don't know. We'll figure that out next week. And then when they're standing there, hit them with lightning and have them fall down the hill. And then they do it. And then I'm like, no. Make them land on something so it looks like you're safe. And then have it break, and then have them roll down the hill.
So you went for more of the comedic route then.
And the reason, everything we did is comedic.
Right.
Was because when I was little, I fell down a tree. And that's what happened.
Oh no.
I didn't get hit by lightning, but I fell down and hit a branch. And I thought I was safe, and then the branch snapped, and I kept going. So the fall at the beginning reminded me of when I was a little kid. And anyways, then we're like, okay, well, we have this villain, right? Sepulture from the previous game. And they're like, well, let's make Sepulture the villain. I'm like, no, you need a new villain. You gotta have something new. Just like this new game, we'll have to have something new. We'll redo the main storyline, and then it's time to kick up the next thing. And I said, but to introduce this new villain, we got to do something jarring. And this is very controversial, because we started the game having Sepulcher with his undead army attack the castle of Swordhaven, which his walls has never been breached. It had an ad, it said, the kingdom of Swordhaven, the walls have never been breached by undead. And when you show up there, like the undead are just like running through the city, and then you go up and you fight your way and you're like, oh, there's the boss, there's Sepulcher. And you go up and you see Sepulcher and the king start fighting. And this no-name guy, Drakath, comes in and one-shots Sepulcher. And like rips his soul out and kills him. And he one-shots like the previous main boss of the other game.
Right.
And everyone's like, well, that's really badass. And inversely, they're like, oh man, you just kind of like, you just one-shot the boss of the previous game. So, like, okay, well, let's introduce a new character. And we made Gravelyn. And Gravelyn was the daughter of the villain. And we did a big twist on it. And she's the best fan favorite character. She's mine, she's everybody's favorite character. Because she starts as kind of a less powerful younger girl who's now the Empress of the Shadow Scythe. And all of the other villainous lords that served her father kind of want to kill her and just take her place. And she enlists the help of the hero to come basically fortify her position and fend them off and keep all the villains in line. And then in return creates an alliance with the good faction so they can team up and go take on this new villain, the Chaos Lord Drakath and his 13 Lords of Chaos. And that is how we got the plot of that one going.
That is absolutely amazing. And I love the fact that this is still something that is updated weekly, that you have mentioned, weekly updates. Not a lot of people get that in their games. And I also love the fact that it's accessible, that this game has been accessible to even kids that didn't have a lot of money. They can still play. It's never been a pay to win, but it's always been something that if I put the time and effort into this, I can still enjoy it. Because
thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
Half of the content on every weekly release, and Adventure Quest Worlds releases are very big at this point. And at least half of the content is completely free. You farm stuff, you earn it. They have daily things that come out that you can go and find and farm and earn. And then, of course, we show cosmetics because that's how we keep the servers online and our team fed.
And you know what? That's awesome, because growing up, I didn't have a lot, so it's a little introspective to me, but it's just like, cool. But now that I'm an adult and I have bills to pay, it's just like, I can splurge a little bit, but this is something, I only have so much.
I'm glad that it honors me that you played and that you came back to the booth so many times. You were awesome. Like, your cosplay every day was spot freaking on.
Oh, thank you.
When you showed up today without cosplay, I'm like, is this secretly a cosplay and I don't know?
I feel like some people should at least see the face behind the actual face behind the cosplayer. But I'm done taking up your time. Thank you so much for taking time
Mark,
for this interview.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys for if you stuck through this. Thank you for listening.
Hey, where can we follow you on social?
Hey, go to artix.com, ARTIX.com. All my social links are on there. Head over to Adventure Quest Worlds Infinity. Hit up your email and get this PAX Blade while you still can before it's taken down. It's just going to last a few weeks after this convention ends. Badlon!
All right.